What is up, you stupid fucks? Today we're gonna be seeing how we're gonna do texturing Substance Painter. Now this is gonna teach out the basics of Substance Painter and stuff like that. Essentially, so this is my model right here, and this is kind of what we're gonna have in the end. So we're gonna go through everything from layers and how to make your own materials and stuff like that in Substance Painter as well. How to get your model ready. So first thing you want to do is go to File here, click New, and then you want to look for your OBJ. This could be anywhere, and here I have mine, the Who's a Knife. Here's your document resolution. You can put this to 1024. I'm going to put this to 2048. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I don't care about this. I'm just going to discard it. And then we have a blank mesh right here. And this is how the mesh is going to look. So the mesh is essentially your model that you made. The first thing you're going to want to do is go into texture set settings, go into bake mesh maps, remove ID, since we're not going to be using this. This is not useful in what we're doing. And then we're going to want to put the output size between 2048 or 4K. I'm going to put it on 2048 since it's going to be part of one of my packs. So I don't really want to spoil it. I really want to make it too large. Then I'm going to put it as use low poly mesh as high poly mesh. So what you can do in the future is that you can make your model high poly, which means like high polygonal count, and that means that you can bake it onto your low poly, which one of your weapons is your low polygonal weapons. So if your high poly weapon has more effect than the low poly, then you can bake the high poly onto the low poly and get that same effect without it being either like performance inducing, etc., etc. But right now I don't have anything like that, so I'm just gonna put this use low poly as high poly. Then we're going to remove average normals and put on anti-aliasing. You don't need to put this on, but I'm going to put it between 2x2 or 4x4. I'm going to go 4x4, and then I'm going to bake it. You might not know what Substance Painter is all about, but I'm guessing you do if you're watching this. Substance Painter is essentially a 3D texturing software where you can texture models and other stuff like that for games, for projects, whatever. It can be anything. So that is essentially, I'm just going to be teaching how we're going to be able to use this today. And I'm going to teach emissive maps, which I'm going to talk about more later, and I'm going to teach about how to make your own materials and stuff like that. So that's the fun shit, Get ready. Super fun. Very fun. Alright. Now it's done baking. It says baking finished. Just click OK. So now you can see that it looks a little more refined, kind of. Yeah, I might just be stupid, but I think it looks a lot more refined. And you're going to want to go to your smart materials. There's materials and smart materials. Why are we taking smart materials? Well, materials contain things that you can't really edit. So if I click right here, I can't edit anything. I can only edit this, which is really boring. So with smart materials, you can edit everything about this. For example, if I get this, this dirty metal, this something I made, and you click on this file, you can edit everything here from the base to the dust, which that might not be as apparent, but you can see a little right there. And then dust edges, which is a lot more apparent. So you can edit really everything. But what we're gonna what I'm gonna use for this, you can try to find your own materials within smart materials, or materials you can also use, but I like to use smart materials. I'm gonna get the wooden walnut, and then I'm gonna make this a little more red. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go into base, then click on the base color, this thing right here, and then drag it all up to red. And I'm gonna go for a darkish kind of, not really red, more like, yeah, something like this actually, something like that. Then I'm gonna go into levels, diffuse right here. I'm just gonna play around with this for a bit. Not that. Not that. There we go. Something like this. And then I'm gonna go into the base color. So what this does is that it is the actual base color. Diffuse didn't do much. It did only a slight thing. I'm not even sure that the change is apparent for if you're watching this, but it's really small. And I'm gonna do something like this. That makes it a lot more dark. So I think I'm happy with this. Then I am going to right click on the wooden walnut and click add black mask. This is so that I'm going to show you what it does. If I click, now it's gone. this is good because I only want it on this part of the mesh, not the whole thing. So then you click on polygon fill. In polygon fill, there are different settings. There's a triangle, which does the polygon to triangle thing. Then there's the polygon, which colors the entire polygon. There's just a mesh, which colors the entire part of that mesh. Then there's a what's it called, UV chunk fill. If I click that, it only does that part because this is one chunk. So if I do that, it's gonna do this whole thing. So I'm gonna go into polygon fill and just go like that because I only want that part to be colored. And then I'm gonna get a new material, which is going to be, what do I want? I think I'm gonna go for bronze right here. There we go. That's what I want. And then I am going to click on mesh. I'm gonna go click on that part, this part, so that it does that. It's starting to look a lot more like a sword. Real nice so far. Then I am going to get, now one hard thing that you might encounter is what you pick. This is something, what you pick. If you have a reference picture, you can go off of that and edit the settings. If for example, you find a wood that's good, but it isn't a good enough options, or it doesn't look the way you want it to, you can edit it with smart materials. But I think I'm gonna go for a dirty metal. So dirty metal isn't that is not actually it's not base substance. It's something I made. I'll put in description if anybody wants it. I feel like it's gonna fit. So then I'm gonna go to mesh fill again, click that, and then go like that. There we go. And yeah, there we go. And so it's looking very nice so far, but I'm not done. I want to add some more effects. Like I want this wood to be a lot more battered, and I maybe want some small indents, kind of. So I'm gonna, we don't need this layer, so I'm gonna remove it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a fill layer, and with this fill layer, I'm gonna add a black mask again. So now I'm gonna click on this, click on that again, and I'm gonna go into the colors again and get this eye drop and go off of this. See, so it's kind of gonna be like that. There we go. Actually, I'll do that again. I think I got it right. Yeah, something like this. There we go. Now that's the base color. Then I'm gonna drag down the height quite a bit and drag up the metallic too quite a bit. There we go. Then I'm gonna go. There's a paintbrush tool right here. So if I do that, you'll see what it does. And then, or you can click Control C to revert, by the way. And you can also use this eraser right here to do this. You can go. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint it, and then I'm gonna go into brushes and get this cement tube. That's what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna drag down the flow a bit and paint right there. See, now it looks a lot more battered or indented. Then maybe add some more like up here. Go for that sort of thing. Maybe a little right there. Just some small things, you know, some small effects. Maybe some up there. You can drag down the size. You can right click, by the way, to get up this setting thing. There we go. Also, if there's something that I haven't gone through that you're wondering about, just add me in Discord or in the comment section, and I'll most likely answer. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with this. But then I also want this wood to look a lot more better. So what you can do, there are two options, as far as I know. You can put in a new filler, put in the folder at the top here, and then you can go into smart masks and look for, what should we go for this? Soft damage. I think soft damage would be good for this. And then you can, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to this mask editor thing right here, which this is starting to get into some things that's pretty good to know. I think it's pretty good to know. See how if I drag up the balance, it's the entire thing. But if I drag down the balance, you see you can play around with everything essentially. You drag up the blur, so you can do a lot. But I'm gonna do something like that. I'm gonna make it pretty like that. You're gonna see now you don't see it anymore. But then we're gonna drag down the height, so you can see what happened there is that you can see some damage around here. You can also drag up the roughness. There we go. So this is a great way to do it. This is basic, it's really easy, but you might not like it. You want it to be more battered, or you want to do it manually, which is, I do that a lot, and it's really good to know as well. You can go add another fill layer, add a black mask like we have done previous times, go back into the settings, and then use the eyedrop thing, hold it, and then go over it and look for a red sort of thing, like that. I like that, that's a good color. Then I'm going to drag down the height, click on my black mask right here in the fill layer 2, go up to the painting thing. Then I'm going to look for, cement 1. Cement 1 will probably be really good for this. I actually want to drag up the roughness here. I'm going to drag it down actually a lot more. There you go. So now it's starting to look battered. I'm going to get cement 2 actually. There we go. And you can kind of, paint around the way you want it, like that, real nice. To kind of get that effect. I like this a lot. It's really nice to do it manually. Now I'm just kind of speedrunning this. I'm not trying to go for a perfection, make it look, absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna make it look basic. So it might make sense to, have a little more damage up here, like it's something like that. Maybe that's a little too much. Yeah, anyways, you can play around with this exactly how much you want. I'm happy with that for now. So it's really good so far. Now this step you can completely jump over if you don't want to learn this. I think a lot of people should learn this, especially if you want your own materials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own material. Substance Painter makes this really easy. I'm going to put something on the screen if you just want to jump over this, or you can just yeah, I'm just going to put something here. So for example, what if I don't like this, any of the metals I find at all? Even if I try to change them, I don't like them, which happens. That's happened to me. So I don't like this bronze at all. So I clicked on this eye thing to remove it. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go for smart masks and making your own material. So if you spawn in a folder, get one in, or add one, and then add in a fill layer. If you plop the fill layer into the folder, there we go. Now it's white because this is like Photoshop. If anybody's used Photoshop, layers. The layer that's on top is the alpha, the greatest one. So the one on top is gonna take over the entire mesh. If I put it on the bottom, it's gone. I'm gonna put it on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go into the fill layer, and I'm gonna add a black mask, and then go into polygon fill and add this to that. And wait, shit. But with this slider, you can, for example, if you accidentally add something, you can drag this down and go like that. See? Now it's gone. And then I'm going to go into the fill layer and get a kind of like a goldy, not super goldy, but something like this. I'm going to drag up the metallic that you find right here. Not to max. And I'm going to drag up the roughness just a little bit. There we go. I'm fairly happy with this. I could probably work on it a bit more, but I'm gonna be happy with this for now. Now we're gonna get into the smart mask and detail adding. If we go down into smart mask right here in the shelf, click on that, and then we look for the first thing that I want to try to add is damage. So I'm gonna get surface worn, and I just put that on top of the filler. Now you see this doesn't add a lot, but if I go into the mask editor, like I did before, I can add a lot more. So I'm gonna add something like that. I'm gonna go into the base color and play around with the base color. I'm actually gonna eyedrop it like that again, but then go for something a bit more lighter. Then I want to drag down the height just a teensy tiny bit. There we go. So that's the first, and it's coming along. I'm gonna drag up the metallic a bit as well. There we go. To max actually. Then add another filler. And here I maybe want to add some dirt soft edge. Add some edge damage or some edge dirt. Here we can get, I'm gonna go for something that's a little kind of, it has just a very tiny effect, so something like this. It's not super noticeable, but it's just a little. Actually, I'm gonna do something like that, I think. So it kind of looks like it's painted over, sort of thing. And add a new fill layer. So I normally just compile fill layers onto fill layers with smart mask and smart mask until I get something I like, which it works. But maybe if you have something to go off of, you should think methodically, so you don't just clutter up your folder with unnecessary bullshit that you're not even gonna use. So I'm gonna do something like this. Then I'm gonna drag down the. I'm gonna drag up the blur because I want it to be a little, okay, not that much. Blur, something like that. And then maybe something like this. Get a slight color shift. Now I'm gonna add some scratches because I want that. So stain scratch. So here I did a little fuck up. As you see right here, it's stretched. This is because of, this is not something to do with SP or substance painter, I'm sorry. But this has to do because my UVs are stretched. But so if you see that, that means your UVs are stretched. You can edit that in your 3D modeling software. There, if you don't know how to do it, there are a plethora of tutorials that you can use. I'm gonna have it look really battered, and I'm gonna have it something like that. Alright, this is really basic. I mean, I want this tutorial to go on, or I want it to end, so I'm just gonna leave it at this. But you can, if you want to, you can keep on adding fill layers and difference. Actually, one thing I'm gonna teach is grunges. So, what grunges are is that they are, oh yeah, I can actually show you. It's these things. If I add a fill layer, and then I add a grunge on top of that, for example, if I add I can right click and add a fill layer onto the fill layer. This is really useful for making stuff like this. So I'm gonna add a grunge dirt fin. So for this, you can, no, not there. You can edit the, like, fuck, you cannot. I'm stupid, I'm sorry. Forget about it. Never mind. This maybe something I shouldn't bring up in this. But the grunges are really useful. You can use them in other things. It's hard to go in depth with them right now because it's just gonna make it longer and longer. But yeah, I'm gonna remove this filling. I'm happy with this so far. So now I want to make an emissive map before this tutorial ends. So emissive maps is what you use for example, if you use a fire spell on your weapon, that's how it lights up. So go into texture set settings, click plus, emissive, go back to your fill layer, remove everything up here in the materials tab except for emissive. Add emissive, it's black, make it white. Add a black mask. I'm kind of speedrunning this, I'm sorry. Go into brushes and then go find, I like dirt 2. Dirt 2 is really cool, really useful. So I'm not gonna make it look pretty at all. So I'm just gonna do this. By the way, a recommendation for material making is also to look at other materials and how they are made and learn from them. That's kind of how I learned. Wood is kind of tricky because you need to compile a lot of things to make it look nice. So yeah, just look at how other weapons do, and then you can drag down the flow right here and make it look like it's about to, you know. Yeah, this is really basic. Just something like that, for example. There we go. Really nice. There are things called alphas. I also want to show those, since they're gonna make your, they're gonna add detail to your weapon. If I add a black mask and then go here and then do the eye drop thing like we've done 20,000 times, then go back to the black mask and find alphas. That's it. So alphas are where you can add effects to your weapons. So I'm gonna look for a nice one. This one might be nice. Actually, no, not that one. I'm gonna find something that's base, because I know a lot of people don't have it, like, because there's some complex alphas like these ones. I'm gonna go for, let's just go for this. I'm gonna drag down the size jitter and the angle jitter, because that's gonna make it, otherwise it's gonna be wonky. Then I don't see anything, but I'm gonna drag down the height. Maybe this wasn't best place to put it. Maybe I should get something else. I think this one is spacing, so I'm gonna get this and drag it up there, and then go. God damn it, these are not good at all. We'll just do something basic like this line stripes. Even though I don't think these fit for the weapon at all. See, so you can kind of add more effect to your weapon, etc. You can. This is not a good showcase of the alpha system, considering this kind of like a stylized weapon. But yeah, that's it. Now you're gonna want to export your stuff. You go into File, Export Textures, Output Directory. Output Directory is where you want it to output. So I'm gonna go for my Husa knife right there. Select folder. And then considering Blade and Sorcery is Unity Universal Render Pipeline, I'm gonna go for URP, this one, Uni Universal Render Pipeline Metallic Standard. Go for that. Then I'm gonna go Export. And then click Cancel. If you go to Husa knife, here they are, right there. Alright, this was finished. I think I went through a lot of things. I'm sorry if it went a little fast. You stop, whenever. If you have any questions, add me in Discord. It's Adam, or just ask in the comment section. Subs Spinner is a really complex, or not really complex, but you can. It has different levels of complexity, and I'm not even close to being at the top. I'm a bit of an amateur myself, but I wanted to go through the things that I've learned. So if there is anything that I can help you with, just like I said, ask me. Anyways, thank you guys. Mwah. Kiss. Ooh.